A Nation in Exile. Thank y'all for coming out. I'm not gonna do the hosting thing because I'm supposed to be doing the reading thing, but I will talk about what exile means to me. I'm a first-gen American. My mom and both my mother and my biological father were from Haiti, and I was born in Brooklyn, and I grew up like not belonging where I was, and everywhere I went, I didn't belong where I was. And then when I was 14, I was orphaned and had to like try to find and form a family. And like most of my life has been spent seeking home, seeking family. It's part of what created A Nation in Exile, actually, just like how deeply that is rooted in me and in my story of feeling like I don't belong, feeling like I could be pedestaled and put like above and like people be like, ooh, ah, or I could be put asunder, but it was very hard to be with people, right? And Combahee River Collective says, we reject queenhood, we reject pedestals, we reject walking 6 paces behind because to be human is simply enough, right? So I'm gonna read some poems for y'all and I'll talk about home a little bit later. This first poem is about how, I don't have any connection to my family history, really. And so I'm forced to make one where I'm at, right? So this is called Hearsay. I was told that my grandfather and great-grandfather were ambassadors. That's what made me Haitian and Cuban and Italian. I heard rumors of how they know the places or how they knew the places they were assigned to by knowing the women of those places. I was told they were rich and had a penchant for making love. It is good to know there's a reason for my sex drive and my panting heart. It is rumored that my grandfather disowned my mother for doing a hopeful thing and moving her future progeny to America, as if he didn't know moving was in our blood, as if we could actually stay put. Perhaps that's why my feet itch so often, ready to taste new soil. Perhaps that's why my heart seeks knots of conflict to untangle. Perhaps every wandering trait I have is answered in the utterance of ancestors that I'll never truly know. Thank you. The second poem, it's about my brother, Stephen. This poem deals with like the feeling of coming from a different country, living in America, but the country you come from living in utter turmoil, and me, myself, living in some form of turmoil, but not even being able to fathom what my family is going through in Haiti. This is called Rondo for Stephen. My brother messages me from Haiti, says he wishes for me to be godmother to his daughter. I tell him I don't see him well enough to commit to that. My brother messages me a bit later from Haiti, says he needs money again. I sit before my MacBook. I tell him I'm unemployed, but I wish him to be unshook, even as he is laying under the windowsill, though not overtook by fear, as he hides from armed men, escaped from the bombed out prison, down the road, around the bend. My brother messages me, says he wishes for me again to become a billionaire. I tell him I don't believe in the goodness or care of billionaires or their wealth. My cousin messages me in fear, tells me my brother in Haiti is dead, his daughter still there. Yeah. That one's for Stephen. I never met Stephen. As you see, I grew up a daughter of a single mother, and my biological father had like many other children besides me, and we found each other on Facebook kind of thing, and a lot of them lived in Haiti, and I never got to meet them, or have not met many of them. But that one's for Stephen, who I did meet and did talk to, at least virtually, you know? And this poem is called Alternative Names for Black Girls. There's a poem by Denez Smith called Alternative Names for Black Boys, and I just kind of like ripped that and did my own version. 1, everybody's mama. 2, auntie. 3, hope and hallelujah. 4, prime rib. 5, Salisbury steak. 6, trampled and escaped. 7, an escape. 8, holding and held. 9, the wind, the air, the water, and whatever else is unseen or transparent or immeasurable to eyes that look without seeing. 10, a man. 11, wanted. 12, science experiment. 13, pressed upon. 14, still alive. 15, stylish maven. 16, Mary. All right, I thought I would cleanse your palate with some short poems because I'm about to take y'all on a ride. This is gonna be my final poem, but it's a ride, so bear with me. So, really quickly, I deal with mental health issues, pretty severe ones sometimes. And what has brought me back from utter death, destruction, and darkness has been Black women, has been Black artists. Literally, I've been in places where I hope no one should ever have to go and have turned on a documentary, have listened to a talk, have listened to Maya Angelou tell me to rise, have listened to Sonny Patterson call me a wild woman and to get the fuck up. Sorry, but yeah. And I've listened to all of these Black women, and they have literally resurrected my spirit, resurrected my soul. So this poem is for all of them. This is why I needed to do this when I was coming up with what we were gonna do for Black History Month. I was like, it's gotta be Black femmes, Black women, because I wouldn't be here without a Black woman. And Black women have historically been called the mule of the world, this idea of always everything being built on her back. I just wrote a paper about this. I'm not gonna rant about it, so I'm just gonna read a poem and we're gonna get out of here. But this is called Brownstones, y'all. Okay. It starts with a little quote from my Koi that says, "There is someone always sitting next to the button, ready to erase me." 1, in Kansas City and cities all across the nation, there are board meetings that determine blight, that look at dilapidated buildings and determine them unfit to remain due to unwieldiness to site, and auction off these buildings to the highest bidders while paying the price of our tax dollars in the spirit of revitalization, and bring boxy concrete beings to life while displacing the soil-colored skin folk that made the area rife with possibility. In these lands, they praise infertility. Amara told me that the fear of being forgotten or neglected or left by the wayside or lost in the trenches without mention after having been bent backwards beggingly to help whoever is shared by Black women all across America, by blighted backs who stifle their bark and craving for attack so as not to sacrifice being loved back. My bitches who sold their bite to the highest bidder at the price of their worth and overflow in the spirit of staying alive. My bitches who have been forgotten in the annals of white supremacist time, whose moans are finally rumbling where our histrionics live. Henrietta Lacks, Hidden Figures, Ella Baker, Diane Nash, Mae Mallory, Gloria Richardson, Daisy Bates, Madam C.J. Walker, Fannie Lou Hammer, Hidden Figures, Bell Hooks, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Hidden Figures still, Roberta A. Drury, Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, Ruth Whitfield. Hidden Figures, Hidden Figures, Hidden Figures, Hidden Figures, Hidden Mothers, Hidden Sisters, Aunties, Hidden Homewreckers, Hid Homemakers, Den Homekeepers, Homes, hidden beginnings, hid beggars, den broken bones, hidden bodies, hid hoes, den thoughts, highest thoughts of God, hidden holders, hid mammies, den homies, friends, hidden me, hid me, den me. Mary, you do not hide your light under a bushel. The average woman in Jesus' time was named Mary. The average Jesus is the least of us, and homeless, and in prison, and sick, and refugee. The average person evicted is a 49-year-old black woman. The average person in prison is black. The average person who can't get health care is black, brown. The average refugee is brown. And in the spirit of fear, we have become a color. And in the spirit of simplicity, we are now a number. And in the spirit of revitalization, we are disappeared. This is our body, broken for you. This is our blood, shed because of you. This is us coming through. That's the first part. Okay. We got 3 more parts to go. So. 2. When Palmer's cocoa butter became known to me, it was actually through lighter complexion hands than my own. I have been beleaguered by colors these days, a piercing blue gaze that turns the hands of my lovers into particulate matter, stark and separate from my being. It doesn't change the fact that one day, by some lake, I sat beside my 2-toned male friends, different shades of white, and skin to skin to skin. My eyes could not see any distinction between his and mine, pale and tan and black, brown, red, not quite intertwined but alongside, and some air of belonging twixt. This clean, dull slice of unknown doesn't change the contour of my climb. The fact that each hand that has tried to hold me up wanted to be there in whatever capacity they could. Even when I was all tumble and knots, when no one knew the depths of my ajar, unhinged cove of murderous caw, and thus did not know the notes to dial to reach my swan song please, and usher my unraveling home to some sort of woven settlement. The tapestry upon my walls called for pause, for stop and break, a relief from a cup that I didn't ask to drink. Brown and white liquor tumbled into my wine and consorted to undo me decently. This is 3. So I'm gonna tell you about this thing. I know we aren't all writers in here, but raise your hand if you know what a golden shovel is. Just so I can gauge. Oh, not many people know. Okay, so and that's fine. I'm gonna teach you real quick. We're at a writing conference and we're doing things, so I'm gonna teach you some writing stuff. So a golden shovel was a poetic form created by Terrence Hayes, right? And what he did is he took a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks called "We Real Cool, we left school, we lurk late." Okay, so that poem, right? He took it and he took each word of that poem and made it the last word of each line of his poem, so that and I hope you're following me because it can be confusing trying to explain it, but along the right side, the poem was "We Real Cool," but it was a whole new poem, okay? And that's what's called a golden shovel. So what I did, because black women have saved my life, I took 13 lines from 13 different black women and wrote 13 golden shovels, and that's what I'm gonna read to you real quick. Because, thank you. So, because I know we're not all writers here, I will tell you what the line is first, and then I'll read the poem just so you can hear how that works, okay? So this first one is after Oriel Marie. The line is, "Oh, pot deeper than a grandmother's prayer." Finally, something that makes me go, "Oh God, you have not left your daughter forsaken in a pot," calling the kettle black mythology that runs deeper than the melanin in my skin, than the fiery rage in my gut, a call to the unknown army in my grandmother's chest, which simply boasts a fervent prayer. This one is after Patricia Smith, and the line is, "Since both were free to root." We have been in a beleaguered state since we were born. The frightened fractures in us both remind of blessing and misery. Then we were taught of kintsugi, the art of being free, which blossomed our bloodshed to a coat of many colors. Then being took root. This one is after Jalen Harris, and the line is, "We got black girl hymen in black girl." They never taught us of the virginity we were born with and could maintain after things got hairy with non-consent and rapture of Black figures from our mental DNA. This girl told me her beard was her belonging to her hymen, and I was besought with eroticism in my guts, a beckoning of Black. She told me I could talk to animals, this girl. This is after Erica Foreman, and the line is, about the anchor in the swell of a belly. They still don't know about how I hold them in all or most parts of my inner sanctum of body and anchor, grounded for their healing in the miredest of places where the light seems to soften to a dull swell, unfelt in the August of our unbecoming, as they reckon with a beastly maw and groan in their belly. After Taylor Johnson, the line is, consider the globalization of the expensive American sound. Right, these lines though. Come on, that's why they're amazing. We have been left with many why, how, what's it's to consider, as we are given up to the rapids of our thoughts, obligated to the globalization of our care, anxious, knotted fumble through the sanctity of life with boot stomp on the holiest of grounds, wilt of flowers, flattened fruits, force the expensive gospel of gritty, terse expansion through unwilling labor and American standard. Oh, say, can you hear this sound? After Monica Prince, and the line is, and fear, get Black, here's the new spell when they ask. She was cod, swallop, and nunnery, a fleshy, oceanic stink of fear, forgotten for her ruptures, left for what they could no longer get of her substance when her ministry became too Black. Alone is where she learned to listen. Here's what she heard. Become the love you seek. Learn of the new ancient ways. Learn to spell with the spirit of the Most High. When you're upon the wavering, do not listen to what they say. Breathe and pray. I will answer. Just ask. This is after Kimon Felix. The line is, the law abandons language in the dark. Fuck. I know, right? Okay. Can we speak about the way our hearts are strung by chains on the branches of the law? And how the way we've been taught abandons our own knowledge of the way that language frees us to be ourselves and each other's pillars in the best ways, and how our God-given lights shine in the way that absolutely defeats the dark. After Nabila Lovelace, and the line is, inward like the center of a spoon. I have been earnestly trying to go inward, but something has been blocking me like a football player defending his and his father's honor to the death. When they tell me to find my center, I weep a little, knowing the truth of the matter. I have been robbed blind due to a state that praises forks when all we really want to do is spoon. Yeah. Y'all got that. Okay. After Warsan Shea, the line is porn on the family computer. There has been an uptick in the business of trauma porn as we rip our wounds open to prove we are worthy of anything at all. On days when we should be inside, basking in the light of coming home to a true sense of family, we drag ourselves across the blue light of empty approval emanating from our computer. After evaluating, the line is skin turned skyward, wishing for the clouds. An ode to my skin, a skyline of praise and thanks, a A hallelujah turned inward and toward those who look skyward for a sense of purpose and blessing, wishing they would look into my eyes and open and upon this glorious hallelujah for a sense of grounding, of belonging, of nourishing water as if from the clouds. This is after Shayla Sabri, and the line is, my dad, the first person I called. When on my knees, I first heard news of my descent into the underworld. My dad left to find himself in the midst of the stars. I had always wanted to be first in his eyes, but he told me I was just one person among many people, and I cried. The specialness I learned in this world deafened my ears when he finally called. After Gwendolyn Brooks, the line is, in yourself, you stretch, you are well. The grace of the end, just to be yourself, is something you reach toward, not so much a stretch, but an unfolding of you, all that you are, no longer a whole, but a whole well. And this last one is after Maya Angelou, and the line is, still I rise. And even still, there's something I must say. We were born to rise. And I have one more part to this poem. Okay. All right. Part 4. I am unskinned and unwound, unbound by the fetters of left in drunken glamour of false and natural lights. A shimmer becomes me, a pin-pricked monument to a boisterous bellow of be. As one is, so is me, a whelming sea of over and under, a crisp smatter of solitude and similarity, some swat of simple serif, some standard of share allowance, a trifle of sweet truffle, a close-eyed hallelujah, lip glisten and heavy laden, shatter and wash in poignant perpetuity, ebullient sways around and within, viscous air and lashing tongue and tumbling hands, a stumble, a swelter step, swan steeped in some magnificence, button melt and permanent ink, silent hello and bust to rust, ironclad, tongue lash and forge, golden and open and singing, hallelujah, I am home, hallelujah, I am home, hallelujah, I am not alone. Thank you.